Man, when Mel Gibson came on the podcast and we started talking about spirituality, I didn't expect the conversation to go that deep. I mean, we've all heard Mel talk about faith before. He's a hardcore believer. He's been through a lot of controversy, a lot of introspection. When he started breaking down why so many Christians are looking toward Islam, it honestly blew my mind. Like, I just sat there thinking, wait, what the hell is going on here? Because look, I've had Muslims on the podcast before. I've had people who talk about discipline, fasting, faith, purpose. Wild how all those concepts seem to intersect inside Islam in such a raw, no BS kind of way. Mel was sitting across from me sipping his coffee, and he said, Joe, you know what it is? The West has lost its center. People don't know what's real anymore. And that hit me, man. He's right. We live in this hyper-modern world filled with distractions, dopamine hits, social media validation, and people are spiritually starving. They've got money, they've got comfort, they've got technology, but they don't have peace. And that's what Mel was getting at. He said that a lot of Christians are starting to feel that the churches they grew up in have become hollow, like the soul's been sucked out. He said, when people look at Islam, they see something pure, something disciplined, something untouched by the consumer madness that's taken over Western spirituality. And that's when I started thinking, damn, he's right. Because if you think about it, Islam demands something from you. It's not just a show up on Sunday, sing a song and go home kind of thing. It's a full system, a daily discipline. You're praying 5 times a day. You're fasting. You're giving charity. You're bowing, physically humbling yourself before something greater. And in a world where ego runs wild, that's radical. Mel said that people are realizing Christianity has become too comfortable. Like, it doesn't challenge the ego anymore. And man, that line just echoed in my head, because what's the point of a faith that doesn't challenge you? What's the point of believing in something if it never makes you confront your flaws? When I talk to fighters, they always say the same thing. You grow through struggle, grow through discomfort. And that's kind of what Islam is all about. It's about taming the ego through submission. Submission, that's literally what the word means. And that's what Mel was pointing out. He said, Joe, the West talks about freedom, but they've lost the meaning of discipline. Islam talks about submission. Inside that submission, they've found freedom. I sat back like, whoa, that's deep. That flips the whole Western philosophy upside down. We think freedom means doing whatever we want, no rules, no limits. But maybe real freedom is mastery. Maybe it's self-control. It's saying no to your desires so that your desires stop controlling you. And when you think about that, it's kind of insane how relevant that message is right now. People addicted to everything, their phones, porn, junk food, validation, and they're miserable. We've got a society full of people chasing happiness. Nobody's finding it. And here's this religion that's been saying for 400 years, control yourself, discipline your soul, worship only God. And people are starting to wake up to that. Mel told me, Joe, when I met Muslims in the Middle East, I saw something I hadn't seen in the West in decades, reverence. That word stuck with me, reverence. Respect for something higher. We've lost that here. We mock everything, make jokes about everything. We treat everything sacred as a meme, and the soul can't survive in mockery forever. It needs meaning. And I think that's what Christians are seeing in Islam, a structure of meaning that hasn't bent to modern chaos. I mean, walk into a mosque and everyone stands shoulder to shoulder, rich or poor, black or white, CEO or janitor, all equal before God. That's powerful, man. Something we don't see anymore. And Mel said it too. He said, the simplicity of Islam is what's drawing people in. There's no middleman. Confess to a priest. You don't wait for Sunday. You talk directly to God. You pray. You fast. You live by a moral code that's the same in 2025 as it was 400 years ago. That kind of consistency is rare. It's like an ancient blueprint that still works. And I said to Mel, dude, it's wild. Because when I talk to Muslims, they don't just believe this stuff. They live it. It's not an accessory to their identity. They are. And in a time where everyone's lost in identity politics, that's attractive. It's grounding. People want that. Tired of fake smiles and empty slogans. They want something real. Mel said something like, Christianity has been compromised by politics, by culture wars. Islam still feels pure. And that's not me saying Christianity is bad. It's just that when religion becomes entertainment, when it bends to trends, it loses its power. People are hungry for something that can't be bought, that can't be updated, that doesn't need approval from social media. And Islam, it's timeless. And you know me, man, I'm not trying to promote one religion over another. I just like to understand what's going on in people's minds. And right now, this shift is real. You see all these celebrities, athletes, intellectuals, even ex-priests converting, and you have to ask, what are they finding there that they're not finding here? Mel said it's discipline, humility, and direction. And those are things missing in the modern West. Have all the tools for success, but no compass. They have maps, but no destination. Islam gives that. It says, you were created with a purpose. Your life is a test. Your actions matter. That gives people hope. That gives them a reason to wake up and fight through the chaos. And honestly, I could feel it in Mel's voice. He wasn't talking about theory. He was talking about something he'd seen. He said he met young Muslims who don't drink, who stay away from drugs, treat their parents with deep respect. And he was like, Joe, they got something we've lost. And I had to admit, yeah, they do. We've built this culture that worships rebellion, not respect. We celebrate disrespect. We make fun of the sacred. And now people are realizing that the joke's gone too far. The soul's starving for structure, for reverence, for peace. And that's why, man, it's not about trends. It's about truth. And truth doesn't age. Truth doesn't need an update. That's what I think people are feeling when they look at Islam. It's truth that never changed. And that's a scary thing for the modern ego because it forces you to confront yourself. It forces you to admit that maybe freedom without purpose is just another kind of prison. So when Mel Gibson said all that, I just sat there in silence for a while. Like, damn, this isn't just about religion. It's about human nature, about what we're missing as a species. You take away meaning, discipline, reverence, and you get anxiety, depression, chaos. But when you put those things back in, you get peace, you get balance, you get faith. And maybe that's what's happening. The pendulum's swinging back. The West went too far into self-worship. And now people are looking for God again. They're looking for order. They're looking for something unbreakable. And they're finding it in Islam. So I looked at Mel and said, man, do you think this is just a phase? Or is it something deeper? And he didn't even hesitate. He said, Joe isn't a phase. This is the soul's rebellion against emptiness. That line hit me hard. Chaotic world. And he was right. I've seen it. 2 millions of people bowing in perfect rhythm. No music, no stage, no ego, just submission. Yeah, and that's powerful, man. In a time where everyone wants to stand out, Islam teaches you to kneel. In a world obsessed with self-expression, it teaches self-control. That's not weakness. That's mastery. And I told Mel, crazy, because that's exactly what fighters chase: control, patience, timing, surrender to the grand. He nodded and said, that's why Islam feels like truth. It's a way of life built around discipline and humility, and that's what the modern man is starving for. And that line, man, that stayed in my head because we've replaced purpose with pleasure. We've replaced faith with distraction. And now people are realizing that pleasure without purpose is just emptiness dressed in neon lights. Mel said, Christians are waking up, Joe. They see that the world has turned God into a brand, and Islam refuses to sell him. That hit deep because think about it, everything in our culture gets marketed spirituality. But Islam, it's unshakable. It doesn't change to fit the times. It changes people. And that's why it's spreading. It's not just conversions, it's awakenings. People are waking up to something timeless. And maybe that's what Mel was trying to say. Not that Christians are losing faith, that they're finding a pure form of it, a faith that demands something from you, a faith that rebuilds you. And when you see that, when you feel that peace, hard not to be moved.